Welcome to Scraping Content with me, Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. In this training, what I'm going to walk through is how to utilize SEO Content Machine for scraping. I'll share with you the two different types of scrapers, whether that's going to be a static scraper, which is built into the system, that's what they call it, a dynamic scraper. I'll also walk through the basic functionalities and how to go ahead and utilize a third-party service in order to put a clean or a crude spin on top of the content so then it can be utilized on your blogs, on your PBNs, wherever you want. So again, I am Chris Palmer. Please visit us at seomastermind.org or chrispalmer.org, and I look forward to seeing you in the training. See you there. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what I will walk you through is choosing the cloud instance that's going to be best for your WordPress installation. So let's go ahead and get into this now. So we have already turned on and enabled all of our APIs, and we have chosen to utilize Google Cloud. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and name this. So it's going to be SEO testing. Okay. SEO testing. All right. And then down when you come inside of here, see how the cost is 13 bucks. So we could put a dash in there. Now, what you'll do is if you go to Central, all right, is it 1A, 1B, 1B? All right. ME, so look at that, free. Is it free though? South America, US Central 1. All right, E2, what we're going to do is go to N1. Okay. Then we come inside of here. Small, half, one shared core, one virtual core. Okay. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a cheaper instance, right? I want Asia, Europe. Whew. So that's what these MEs can be pretty cheap, but the probability of me getting one, highly unlikely. All right. I don't really want to spend that, you know? I don't want to spend that much. 13, I could come off 13. 2 virtual cores, 2 gigs. Let's go down here to N1. Okay. N2. Okay. C3. Oh boy. That was pretty cool. E2 small, 2 virtual cores with 1 core and 2 gigs of RAM. I think we could get on with that. I think this is probably good. Let's see what a micro is. There you go. We're gonna go small. That's perfectly fine. All right, install PHP myadmin, HTTPS. All right, so this is balanced. What we're gonna go is SSD extreme. SSD. Boot size we cannot change. Here's our default source IP allow. Okay, enable okay, and deploy. Now what's really great about this is after you make your decisions based on price and location, there is a walkthrough. If you take a look here, and it'll walk you through all of the, it'll walk you through each of the steps, which is really fun, but we're going to walk through it today. All right, so no need to worry about that. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and hit deploy there, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what I'd like to go ahead and walk you through is how to go ahead and download and receive and get SEO Content Machine in order to go ahead and walk through the rest of this training on how to scrape content. So the very first thing that you will want to do is go head on over to SEO Content Machine. Now, once you get here, I want you to take the time to head on out to Google search. Because it changes, I can't give you any coupons because I'm not promoted by this tool. But what I always do is I go out and look for coupons, usually on Blackout World, so you can get 15% off, 25% off. I don't have any, but I'm sure you can find them. Blackout World, SEO Content Machine, coupon. That way you could get a little bit of a deal. Once you put in the deal and you go and buy it, you are going to download the software. When you download the software, what you will be brought to is a screen that looks like this once you open it up on your machine. Now, the very first thing that I want to share with you is this left-hand toolbar here, okay? So you have your AI creator, AI writer. I don't utilize it, but with your yearly or monthly subscription, you get access to it. I don't use it, but maybe you might want to. The second one down is where we are going to primarily utilize all of the functionalities that interest us for this particular training, which is going to be two separate things. This is going to be the dynamic page scraper and the static page scraper. These are the two that we generally utilize. All right, so here they are right here, 1 and 2. Now the next thing down here, this is how you can upload the content through email, is how we do it. You can set up SMTP or SMPT, one of those variations. If you're interested in being able to post through email to your WordPress website, super easy to set up. You can do that in this particular window here. The next piece that I want to point out here is your settings. Now inside of your settings here, there's another menu here. You know, whether you're interested in utilizing a proxy, because note, you are scraping and scraping pages. This is where I have put in a residential rotating proxy. When I'm scraping websites, especially making multiple requests because I want to do this stuff fast, yes, I'm using a residential rotating proxy with 700,000 pool. So a large pool. The proxy that I utilize, which is Storm Proxies, residential, it's making every request that I make, it's serving a new IP. So that way it's like a new person each time. Okay, so I wanted to point this out to you. So right here, this button here, go to settings, down here to proxy. I'm utilizing a residential rotating, and then we want to turn this on. Once we have this up, this is the basic functionalities of this software that I want to point out to you. You know, the very first thing is the AI writer. I don't use it, but you might find use for it. The next element here, which is going to be the scrapers, which static and dynamic is what I'm going to share with you in this training, how they work, how to use them. The next element here, which is going to be for uploading or creating, you know, CSV merger files or creating CSV import data files, because you can export your data and upload with CSV, especially to WordPress, or you could do it through email. Super helpful. It does it all for you like that. Very, very helpful. The next thing is settings and API logins. Settings is what I generally utilize, but maybe, I don't know why they would, but maybe there is a, you know, it would have been news to me, but I thought there would be like an OpenAI, but there's not. But they have all the little spinners already built right in. And last but not least, if you have any little questions outside of this training, they have tutorials and whatnot, live chat. I don't use these things, but that's about it. That's where to download it. That's how to get a coupon. That's how to sign up. These are the main functionalities that we're going to be showcasing in this training, and I hope to see you in the next training video. I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what I'd like to share with you is the very next step. So we have already gone ahead and selected our WordPress and Google Cloud. We then walked through the process of choosing, well, where do we want the location to be? How large of a how much resource do we want, right? Which location, how much resource? We've named our instance. It's technically launched. Now the very next step after you have your deployment up is we need to then promote a static IP address. So here's what you need to do. If you come on over here, once your instance is up and you go over here to the left-hand side, there's a button here called VPC Network. So what you want to do is under VPC, what you want to do is come to IP addresses. So click on IP addresses. Now, once you're on IP addresses, you can see that there's already two. There's one that's internal and there's one that's external. What you're looking for is the external. So here is your external IP address. What we want to do is we want to promote to a static IP address. So this IP is ours. So let's go ahead and do that now. Promote to static IP. Lowercase letters, numbers, hyphens are allowed. Name must start with lowercase letters. So what we want to do is I'm going to name it the name of the blog. Okay, description, SEO testing blog for SEO testers.com. Reserve. So now what we just did is we have reserved a IP address for our instance, for our website. So now we can get external traffic. So now we have secured our IP. We've set up our server. We've installed WordPress, PHP See you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what we are going to discuss is changing out your DNS records if you decide to utilize a CDN such as Cloudflare, Akimi, Bunny. There's a plethora, CloudFront. There's so many different options for CDNs, all right? If you decide to utilize them, you will need to access your registrar information. So for my website, my registration is on a old Google domain, as you can see here, all right? Now, what we're going to go ahead and do here is I just want to showcase the domain. Now, what you're going to need access to is perhaps the DNS records and the name server records. So wherever your registrar is, you want to make sure that you have access to it so you can change records if need be. The reason for this is so you can actually communicate with your server and serve information over the web. And here's another one, make sure that your site is secure. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through the process of utilizing Google's DNS. All right. So once you have your resource up, we've already made sure that we have a static IP address. So the very next thing that we want to do here is we want to go up to our search bar and we want to look for DNS. Now, when you're looking through your DNSs here, what you're looking for is product and pages, so Cloud DNS. We want to make sure that we enable the Cloud DNS inside of our instance, all right? So we're going to go ahead and wait for the Cloud DNS API to come on. All right. So while we're waiting for that, I just want to point this out. The cost is 40 cents per million serves. So in my opinion, very affordable. Not quite free like some other CDN options, but certainly doable, that's for sure. So what we want to go ahead and do inside of here is we want to create our policies, I believe, but let's make sure that we set up our zones first, all right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to our Cloud DNS, create a zone. We are going to create a public zone, so it's already selected. Zone name, SEO. I don't know, testing. DNS. It's going to be SEO testers.com, SEO test, SEO testing blog, SEO testing with Chris Palmer. How about that? DNSC is off. I think that's perfectly fine. What is it? The DNSSEC state of the zone. I'm going to go off. And what we want to do here is let's take a look at this. We are going to create. Okay. So now we have created a particular DNS record for SEOtesters.com. The very next thing here is we want to make sure that we have our policy set, but we will do that in the next video. See you then. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what I'd like to share with you is a language that is called jQuery. So jQuery is going to be massively impactful on your overall scraping because this is the language that SEO Content Machine utilizes in order to select certain areas on a page. So let me share with you exactly what I mean. All right. So what I'm going to showcase with you right now is the static page scraper. All right, so we're going to click on static page scraper. And remember, there's two separate types of scrapers that you can utilize. And the reason why there's two different types is because some sites have extra functionalities within the website, and it's a lot harder to pull data. But for some odd reason, if you just have to have data off of a particular site, no other site will do, then you utilize the dynamic scraper. So then you have to use selectors on the page, and I'll walk you through that in order to pull out that information, because some sites are coded differently, not just HTML and CSS. Okay, so with that being said, let me share with you what jQuery selectors are and how they're utilized within the system. So what we're going to do is come on over here to the left. We're going to click on static, and we're going to start to begin to create our very own scraper within SEO Content Machine. Now, what I want to point out here is if you come on down this page here, scrape tags, this is the tags that are on a page. But what I really want to point out is this section here. All right. See how scrape tags? Now, you may or may not know what a tag is, but let's go ahead and share this with you. All right, so we're going to click on the tutorial, which is going to take us to W3 School, I believe. Correct. Now, jQuery selectors, as you can see here, are actually in a list. There's multiple ways to list out certain selectors. All right. Now, at the end of the day, really what we're after is P tags, H1s, and where this will really have the most impact on our scraping is when we have a unique site that's using a different type of tag on the page where we have to pull it out specifically. All right. And what I mean by this is there could be, say, a P-H1 where they'll have a paragraph H1. It's sectioned or nested in the site in a different way. It sounds like a lot, but it's very, very simple. All right. But here is the page, or here is the reference of all the selectors. If you just stick with the basic H1, H2, P tag, the static scraper will be able to pull out those particular elements. And in the next video, when I walk through the static scraper, I'll share with you exactly what I mean. And then after that, I'll walk through the dynamic selectors and how easy SEO Content Machine will make it for you. All right. So this is going to be jQuery selectors. Really, it's just tags or elements that are on the page that we're pulling out. All right. In the next video, I'll share with you the static scraper step by step on how we can start scraping content, and then we'll move into the dynamic scraper. I'll see you then. Have a great day. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what we're going to do is continue on setting up our DNS records or our cloud DNS records inside of Google. All right. So what we want to do here is after creating the initial set, we want to go to we want to click on this. And once we create our initial set of DNS or zone records, whatever you want to call them, what I want to do here is create a standard set. Now, what I want is I do not want to utilize a subdomain like www. What I'm interested in is just going right off the root. So we're going to go SEOtesters.com. We're going to set our A record. And then the IPv4 address 1 is going to be the address that we already have that we made static in the previous videos. So we're going to click on this button here and we're going to click select. Then we're going to click create. All right. And now we have an A record, an SOA, and a name server record. Now this is going to wrap up creating our DNS records. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add this information over at our registrar. I'll see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how to go ahead and start scraping a specific web page. So for this example, what I'm going to use is my own website. That way we can't get in any trouble. There's no issue. I don't have a problem with scraping my content. So what I'll do is I'll walk you through the static page scraper. All right. We'll fill out the information and we'll go in there and we'll scrape a few pages so you can get an idea of how to go ahead and start scraping some content and even the headers. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the left-hand side together. All right. And as you can see, it's going to be the second one down. There is an arrow pointing down and then there's multiple options. The very first option is going to be the option that you want to select. Now we are on static page scraper as you know, clarified here. It's up in the top left-hand corner. The very next step that you'll want to go ahead and do is click on this blue button right here in the middle of the screen. It says new static page scraper. You're building a unique scraper based on the pages or websites or elements that you want to pull from a magnitude of websites. What I mean is you can create one scraper that you can load in multiple websites or multiple pages, a whole sitemap, whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Here, I'll show you. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and put in a website. All right, we're going to use chrispalmer.org, but then we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll also do another page. So https, chrispalmer.org, and then I believe it's GSA, search engine ranker. All right. But then just for S's and G's, the next thing that we're going to do is let's go out there and scrape another page. How about https / let's do how about homelight.com. We'll just scrape their homepage just for fun. Now, this next element, just like we discussed in the earlier video related to the jQuery selectors, what we're going to put in here is the actual tags that or the sections that we want to scrape, okay? So what we're super interested in is going to be title, right? H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, right? And then P, paragraph, okay? Unwrap, remove tags. If there is something inside of the initial scrape that you do not want to see, you need to figure out what that element is and then add it to a tag to be removed. What I mean by this is for some instance that the H6 on every single page that you're scraping is contact, you know, Johnny's bologna sandwiches. Well, we don't want to scrape the H6 from the pages, and we'll put this into the removal or just not include it to begin with. All right. But if you're scraping more than one site, this is where this can become helpful for whatever reason. It's a use by use case scenario. All right. So remove tags with text. So again, let's say, for instance, that I want to remove an A tag that contains a competitor's URL. Okay. But I still want to get the A tags in order to have placements on the page. Well, I could put this in here. And if I want to scrape all the A tags, I could put A tag here. All right. You'd have to refer back to the jQuery selector page, the reference guide, in order to put the right tags inside of here. Because note, some websites don't use plain HTML. All right. Mine does. Now, if they're using a different type of selector for the page or a different type of tag for the page, then that's what needs to be added into the scrape section right here. All right. So now that we've gone ahead and put in the most basic scraping functionalities, title tags, H tags, and P tags, so paragraph text and title tags and headers, the next thing that we want to go ahead and do is you can ignore articles that are less than X words, remove HTML, not sure why, wrap lines with paragraph text, spin tax format. So if you want to create multiple variations of text that is already existent on the page, well, then you can do that. It will go ahead and put it into spin tax for you. Now, where is this helpful? For instance, if you're utilizing a tool such as GSA Search Engine Ranker, when I scrape in that text, if it's giving me pre-formatted spin text, this could be wildly helpful for creating mass amounts of backlinks, just as an example. Okay. Now, that's not what I'm interested in, but maybe you are. All right. Translator. Now, this is something that I do enjoy. All right. This is the easiest, fastest, cheapest way to go ahead and just auto spin or crude spin, clean spin, which we'll talk about in a later module. All right. This is the fastest, easiest. All right. Now, the task name, this is what you're going to name your scraper. So if I'm scraping Chris Palmer website plus Homelight, that's what I generally name them. Or I'll just put the URL of the website that I'm scraping, because I usually scrape the whole site and then we spin out the content. It's up to you. Okay. File name, file string. This is up to you. I like to make it, the URL is perfectly fine. So this way we know what page it came from. This is apples and oranges. It's completely up to you, whatever is best for you. Okay. Save file location. So this is going to go here. What we're going to do here is I'm just going to send this into the same folder that the training is in. So as you can see, it is automatically connected to my file system because this is a software-based, Windows-based piece of software. So it's not cloud-based, even though they have that functionality. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and select that. This PC, we're going to go to D, we're going to go to this, and we're going to go to select folder. Okay, so that way the content goes there. Now, as far as schedule, after done, we don't need to do anything. So now, once this is done, we'll go ahead and click save. And then if I want to start the action to start scraping the content that's on the pages that I added, all I'll simply have to do is hit the play button and the actions will show up here. All right, it'll tell me what's going on. All right, currently it's running, and as you can see, it's coming here. Okay, it looks like it's having some fun with Homelight. All right, so as I'm waiting for this, red, skip, 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 and I think it's done. So let's see, there's not much content on the home page of my website. But let's go back into here and see what we have. Oh, it doesn't look like it got me anything really. All right. What we're going to do is go in there and fill out some more based upon the selectors, and then we'll rerun again. So I'll come back to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what we are going to do now is, after creating our DNS records, setting our standard policy, we have our name server, we have our SOA records, and then we have our A record. All right. Now what we want to do here is we want to take these records and put them at our registrar. So registrar is where you bought your domain. In my case, what we did is we actually bought the domain from Google. So what we want to do here is we're going to go into Google. This is my registrar, and I'll walk you through this process. We're going to go to DNS. We're going to go to custom name servers, so manage name servers. We're going to add these servers in. I believe there's 4 of them. Okay, so it's E4, E3. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Copy 1, 2. NS Cloud 2. Yeah, they're all the same. I'm just double checking the name records. NS Cloud, copy. So we're going to change this to the 2. Change this to the 3. And change this to a 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to save our name records. Then what we want to do is we are going to go to our DNS. And I believe since I'm using the DNS records, or I have changed the name servers, I believe that all other DNS or all other queries or policies or records is actually going to be set on Google Cloud. So after you change the name servers out, all the DNS is going to be handled over on Google. So that's it. We change our name servers, we point it at Google Cloud, and this job is done. So I'll see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to pick up exactly where I left off. And where that was is I ran an initial scan on a page that has no content. So what I wanted to look for was very specific tags or jQuery tags that are on the page that will allow me to get all elements that are there. So what I'm doing here is I'm going through the list of jQuery selectors in order to add all element, okay? So what we're going to do here is this right here. We're going to put a star, right? All elements. Okay. Here, we'll do this. All elements. Or we're going to add some more, though, just so I can show everything, just for fun. And then what I want to do is I want to go for H tags. Or headers. Header, all header elements. So beautiful. Let's go ahead and add this. See, hashtag headers. So I'm going to add that in there. So star, hashtag, but let's put a comma in between them. So we're going for headers, all text. But again, I'm filling in extra just for the sake of the training. You might want to select just the elements that are important to you, okay? But the next thing that I'm going to pull out here is going to be paragraph text. Look for that, P tags. P, all elements, so just P, okay? So here's your paragraph. This is H1, div, and P tags. So each one of these sections, it might be unique to you. Some builders use different some builders use different types of tags. So it's important to know the site that you're trying to scrape, so then you can put the right selectors in order to scrape. I just put blank ones in there, just basic, and no, it didn't pull what I needed. So now I'm going back in and showing you, hey, let's go inside of here and grab other ones that are going to be important for this scrape, okay? Right now, what I'm looking for is all P tags, so it's just P. So that's cool. Headers, P tags, okay? Now let's head on out here. Let's make sure that we have the right URLs together, okay? I think this is the right URL. Yeah, it is. Let's just make sure I typed it in correctly. Okay. And then here, we'll skip this one because all there is an H1 on that page. So I don't know how much content it would kick back. All right. Then we have home light. Let's make sure that we have something actually there. I believe there should be. It's just the first thing that popped in my head. So now we're going through this together to figure out what they have on the page. Okay. Let me just make sure that I would assume they have this. Okay, they do. Okay, do they have H2s? I think they should. No, that's interesting. They do have H3. Okie dokie. So they have some headers, and what I put inside of here is describe it all. Now, we may not want to put any of that stuff in here. Okay, now let's go ahead and do a little scrape together. Actually, let's go to a better page here. Let's go to their blog where there might be content. Let's go to an article. This one looks fine by me. And we're going to use that as a scrape. Okay, coming back into the tool, putting that page. Okay, scraping these, unwrap, no thank you, remove task, test. Sure. I'm not seeing anything. I'm going to let it run anyway. Remove HTML, nope. And bada bing, good, 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 good. Let's save. And run. Okay. So maximum size exceeded. It could be because this page is far too large for whatever reason. But now let's go back and double check our content. Go to D. Go to, I named it this. And then we have our page. Now it looks like there's some bonuses in here. So what would we do now? Well, we might want to strip some of this stuff out of here or post it and see what happens. I pulled every single element. So what would we do, Chris? What should we do if this were to happen? Like you have literally every single tag on the entire page, even all of this awesome content that you wrote. What should we do? Well, you may want to unpack them so you can clean it out, or you would have to send it to a spinner, or look at the actual element so you can remove these specific tags, which I don't know if that's necessarily what I want to do here. But if in this case, what I would do is, well, we know that this site has a specific amount of content, and it's inside the P tag. Maybe I don't want to grab all headers. Maybe I only want specific headers. So here, let's go in there and just edit our scraper just a little tiny bit. We're going to go back to our jQuery. Most sites don't give you a pane, just so you know. Let's go inside of here. All H1's divs, no thank you. First, the last, all P elements. Second child. All. I want them all. All input elements, all header elements. I want this one. See if we can get something a little bit cleaner. This video is going to run a little bit longer, but that's okay. See how this one was here? Here, let's get rid of the star, which will get rid of all of those elements. And let's go for headers and P tags. Save and run. Okay, so after, as you can see here, after I took out the star, which scraped all elements, I was able to actually pull back content that has the headers and the P tags from the house buying company's text, and then along with my own website. So now let's go back in there and double check and see what we received. And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but if I refresh this, it actually updates the file. If it's the same name, if it's the same page, but you've updated the selectors, do you see how it has the same article? Technically, there should be two there, but it's updated it intuitively by itself for me to showcase the new scrape. Let's take a look at that page together. Beautiful. Now, this is a lot more usable, wouldn't you say? Now, this is some really great content, but as you can see here, it's just between the P tags. So this is actual usable content, and we've worked through the problem together, as you can see here. So I've taken my header tags, my H2, and all of this gorgeous content that's on chrispalmer.org. Let's take a look at the Homelight blog together now, okay? Let's go over here to the house buying company. And I'm sorry to take you through that painful process, but I wanted you to see some of the things that you might encounter, okay? So let's take a look at this. All right. And some sites don't just use the plain, like obviously Homelight and my own, it does. And 90% of the sites do. They'll just use regular selectors. But sometimes you have to call in other selectors, and you saw the process. Like, I'm looking down the list. Okay, which one should I use? Which one should I use? It's very simple. SEO Content Machine has made this easy. So now we have our H1. Now I've wrapped everything in P tags. That was a request within the software that I utilized, but now I have a whole piece of content here. All right, I have my H1s, I have my paragraph, then it should lead right to my H2. It's even pulling in A tags, which is fine. I know where those are at. I can go in there and replace these. Any instance that says Homelight. In fact, maybe we should do that together, or at least I'll show you where that is. Okay, here. Now, say, for instance, you want to keep the placement of internal links for your own blogs. What you'll want to do here is inside the scraper here, I won't pain you with this, but what I will show you is, remember down in here, let me just show this to you here, remove tags with text, okay? So you can remove A tags, right? A tag is a hyperlink that contain anything to do with Homelight. So it'll keep the A tag, but only take away that Homelight, okay? So that way at least, hey, you'll know, hey, this one had 27. Or you could just completely not scrape them at all. It's up to you, okay? So this is how you utilize the static scraper, scrape content, and work through issues with selecting certain tags on a page. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be the dynamic scraper for those real pains in butts. All right, I'll see you in the next training. See you there. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what I'm going to walk you through is how to utilize the dynamic web page scraper for those harder to scrape websites or web pages. Now, it is definitely recommended to not spend too much time, because remember, we're scraping content, right? So only if you just must have a specific page, or for some reason the static page isn't scraping it, this is when you want to use the dynamic scraper. This is for those harder to reach sites or just harder to get content types. So let me walk you through that right now. This is the dynamic scraper. Now, where you're going to find this is in the left-hand side in this drop down here, and it's the second option on the page here. All right, so dynamic page scraper. So what we want to do here is we want to create a new page scraper. All right, and there's even an example here, which is quite interesting. But what I'm going to do here instead is I'm going to take you right back over to the gorgeous Chris Palmer page, just to show you how this works. So what we're going to do is go over here to chrispalmer.org/GSA search engine ranker. Okay. Now we're going to go to the page by putting the URL here. Okay. And now we're on the page, and I'm going to show you how to dynamically select the actual elements on the page that we want to scrape. Okay. In order to create our own custom scraper. All right, so here's what we're going to do. It can be maybe seen as easier or harder depending on your thought process. Okay, so what you'll want to do is put in the web page or the site that you want to start with, and the reason why is because if a website is utilizing a particular tag type on their website, this is probably how they've coded the rest of the site. So if I'm creating a scraper from a page, this will generally work across the site. Okay. So what we'll do here is we've put in the search engine ranker page. Okay. And what we're going to do is click on select item. Now what we're looking for specifically are elements on the page that we're looking to scrape. This might be images. This could be title tags, not title tags, but header tags, paragraph text, things along these lines. So here's how it's done. So what you'll want to do is select this and see how it turned green? This is a dynamic selector. Okay, so this right here is, I know it's the H1 because I built this page. This is the H2, but see how it did yellow? We don't want that. It needs to be green. Now, for some reason, this is all in one box for some reason, which I find, see, like I mentioned before, tricky. See, all right, there are different colors that are utilized and they signify different things. Now, I know that the color that we want in order for it to pull a specific item is going to be green. So what we're going to do here is we're going to scroll down this page and take a look at, see this box on the outside? What it's looking like is, yep, I knew it. See how it took all that green there? It made this section of the page green. Why? Because the builder that this website uses puts its content inside of a block, right? So it's going to take the elements that are in there. But I don't just want that. I also want this header, and it would be handy to have this header as well. So now I have H1, H2, content blocks that contain headers or wraps. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to hit save. Macro mode must have value. What does that mean? Well, that means that I didn't add it to the actual scraper down below. Let me show that to you. Aha, here it is. So what I want to do is add these selections to the page. Okay, now I should be able, if I remember correctly, I don't use this one generally, but it came up, and then we can hit run. Oh, it's going to be a pain. See, we're working through issues together. So let's start from the very top here. So here's our selector. It's going to be looking for these things. Let's go one at a time in order to make this easy. As you can see right here, it will tell you how many elements you have selected. Okay, so let's go back down to our big element here. Okay. Oh, I want this element here. I want this. Oh, my mistake. So one, add. So now it's added this, and here's that text. Okay, this one. I always do that. Clear. As you can see, I don't like this one. But if you have to have the content, this is how you do it. Select the selector, add. See how it added another block? We're building the scraper instead of it being intuitive. It's not what I like, but okay, no problemo. Now we want to take these H1 tags. Sure. Add. Okay. Now, if I remember correctly here, this is also the sections on the page that you wanted to line up in the scrape. So I did it backwards. Now, how can we move this around? Well, this is the H1, so of course I want this to be first. This is the H2, so we would want that to be second. This is the text that's on the page. I would want that to be third. You see? Now, if I'm looking for a page, a page structure, you would want to make your selection, add it. Make your selection, add it. Or you can add them all and then structure it however you want it in order to, because this is how the output's going to be, Okay, so how I have it currently is H1, H2, and the selection. All right, so that's how this works. Now I should be able to save from here if I remember correct. URLs must have a value. Let's go down here. Let's get rid of close the selector. Okay, macro mode. So what I can do here, well, I can leave this just like that. What we're going to do is go HTTPS. Now let's see if we can use this. GSA search engine ranker. Okay. Format output of content using macro modes. Okay, H1, H2, H3. Is that better? Ah, see how peaceful? Now, I have to say, I've been on sites before. Most notably, I'll show you one. We'll do that together in the next troubleshooting and torture section, and I'll showcase to you how much fun it can be finding these. But give me one moment here. We're going to go ahead and run the scraper that we just built utilizing the dynamic scraper. And as we can see here, it's utilizing a new proxy, but really it's just changing the port out. They think I didn't notice that, but I actually did. But that's okay. We're just going to wait for it. All right, it's doing its thing, and it has finished. Now, I don't believe that I set up where to save this at. So let's just double check and see where it's going to. We're going to go back to dynamic page. We're going to click here, locate that cache. Where did it go? Where did it go? Ranker text, so it went to app data roaming, SCM content cache, articles, GSA. So it is in app data. So you would think that you could click here, but it's inside of app data. Now, oh, it opened it up for me. Gee, that's good, I guess. And then here it is. It's under articles. And here we go. Now this one has all of the content, but it has not laid out the HTML tags, but it has laid it in to the structure that we wanted, starting with the H1, the H2, and then however I had the content selected. Remember how I set it up in the selector format? What I'm meaning by this is, remember how we had it inside of here? Here, I'll show you briefly. Remember how this selector was H1, H2, and then all of the content that was in the, or also known as this inner text, like all those sections that were in that big block that I outlined. When I went to select item and I scrolled down and I selected all of this, that's how it laid out this text document for me. It's exactly how I wanted it to. And you can select and make this any way you want. So in the very next video, what I'll walk through is a harder site, much harder site. Okay, and I'll show you how to go through some of this. All right, so I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a good day. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, I just want to point out some of the consequences of not utilizing proxies while scraping. You have to note, if you're scraping large sums of data at a very high pace, very frequent, making very frequent requests, it's in your absolute best interest to serve a different proxy, or at least a different proxy port per request. So some of the things that could happen, I have thankfully never been into any trouble, and I don't want to, but when we take a look here, I just did a quick search just to showcase this, just as a disclaimer. IP could get blocked, so your home IP, because if you don't put an IP into this software, it's using your home IP. You could get blocked, and you could get blocked from search engines. You could get blocked from the site. Who knows? I don't want to know. Next one is rate limiting. So this is how fast you're getting data. You'd have to do a lot of high frequency scraping for this to happen. Legal and ethical considerations. See, that wasn't even a consideration of mine, but legal was. Reduced That's a big one. Anonymity. It's a fun word. Performance bottlenecks, data quality issues, and increased scrutiny of your IP. See, there's even stuff in here that I never would have thought of. Use an IP. I like residential rotating. They're cheap, they're easy to use, and they always change per request. I use Storm proxies. They have dedicated, they rotate per request, and if you just get one little tiny port, you can get it down to as low as $15 a month. And always have a fresh IP. It's up to you. So in any case, it's been an absolute pleasure. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next training. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what we're going to do is set up a load balancer, which is going to not only take care of some speed issues, but it's also going to take care of our security issues, aka our SSL. So let's go ahead and create our load balancer together right now. So we have already set up our cloud DNS. We have our records inside of here. All right, I'll go ahead and walk through this. We've set up all of our records. We have our www, SEO test, we have our name server, SOA, and then we have our other A record. The next element that we want to go ahead and do is we want to click on load balancing, and then we're going to come up here to the very top and click on create load balancer. Now you will want to make your decision, but what's best for us is going to be layer 7 balancing for HTTP and HTTPS applications. Start configuration. For internet to my VM serverless services, only between VMs. So we're going to go with the first one. And then we're going to make our decision. Do you want to deploy your application in global, regional, or classic mode? Well, you can go ahead and read and see Classic Application Load Balancer is the earlier version of the Global External Application Load Balancer and does not support features such as Advanced Traffic Management. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for the Classic, and we're going to click on Continue. Now what we're going to do here is this is new front-end IP and port, and the protocol is HTTPS. We're going to go to Standard. Okay. What's the difference here? Current tier change, premium. Okay. Name, SEO testing, if it lets me. I didn't think so. And this is going to be SEOtesters.com. Chris Palmer SEO blog. Wonderful. Premium is our current level. IPv4. Yep, that's right. Ephemeral, maybe equal to, not sure. 443 is the number. I double checked. Certificate we've already created, but I guess we're going to create a new certificate. No problem by me. Lowercase, no spaces. So this is going to be the SEO testers.com. Nope, can't do that. SEO, I'm going to do testing. That's actually the keyword that we want. And this is going to be SEOtesters.com. Chris Palmer SEO testing blog. Upload my certificate. Create Google Managed Certificate. And domains is going to be SEOtesters.com. And create. So now we're just going to wait for our load balancing and our certificate. And gee, who would have thought? Now our SSL is all done. And I believe it's at a quite affordable rate at 40 cents per million connections. So that's pretty fair. I mean, I'm happy with it. Hopefully you're happy with it. So this has taken care of us from beginning until end. We have created and set up our WordPress blog. We have chosen our server. We have chosen where we want to serve our content from. We've set up our DNS, cloud DNS. We have also set up a load balancer, which has also taken care of our SSL certificate. So we're all set here. This is all for the Google Cloud setup, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'll see you then. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how to go ahead and start scraping a specific web page. So for this example, what I'm going to use is my own website. That way we can't get in any trouble. There's no issue. I don't have a problem with scraping my content. So what I'll do is I'll walk you through the static page scraper. All right. We'll fill out the information and we'll go in there and we'll scrape a few pages so you can get an idea of how to go ahead and start scraping some content and even the headers. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the left-hand side together. All right. And as you can see, it's going to be the second one down. There is an arrow pointing down and then there's multiple options. The very first option is going to be the option that you want to select. Now we are on static page scraper as you know, clarified here. It's up in the top left-hand corner. The very next step that you'll want to go ahead and do is click on this blue button right here in the middle of the screen. It says new static page scraper. You're building a unique scraper based on the pages or websites or elements that you want to pull from a magnitude of websites. What I mean is you can create one scraper that you can load in multiple websites or multiple pages, a whole sitemap, whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Here, I'll show you. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and put in a website. All right, we're going to use chrispalmer.org, but then we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll also do another page. So https, chrispalmer.org, and then I believe it's GSA, search engine ranker. All right, but then just for S's and G's, the next thing that we're going to do is let's go out there and scrape another page. How about https / let's do how about homelight.com. We'll just scrape their homepage just for fun. Now, this next element, just like we discussed in the earlier video related to the jQuery selectors, what we're going to put in here is the actual tags that or the sections that we want to scrape. Okay, so what we're super interested in is going to be title, right? H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, right? And then P, paragraph, okay? Unwrap, remove tags. If there is something inside of the initial scrape that you do not want to see, you need to figure out what that element is and then add it to a tag to be removed. What I mean by this is, for some instance, that the H6 on every single page that you're scraping is contact, Johnny's bologna sandwiches. Well, we don't want to scrape the H6 from the pages, and we'll put this into the removal or just not include it to begin with. All right. But if you're scraping more than one site, this is where this can become helpful for whatever reason. It's a use by use case scenario. All right. So remove tags with text. So again, let's say, for instance, that I want to remove an A tag that contains a competitor's URL. Okay. But I still want to get the A tags in order to have placements on the page. Well, I could put this in here. And if I want to scrape all the A tags, I could put A tag here. All right. You'd have to refer back to the jQuery selector page, the reference guide, in order to put the right tags inside of here. Because note, some websites don't use plain HTML. All right. Mine does. Now, if they're using a different type of selector for the page or a different type of tag for the page, then that's what needs to be added into the scrape section right here. All right. So now that we've gone ahead and put in the most basic scraping functionalities, title tags, H tags, and P tags, so paragraph text and title tags and headers, the next thing that we want to go ahead and do is you can ignore articles that are less than X words. Remove HTML, not sure why, wrap lines with paragraph text, syntax format. So if you want to create multiple variations of text that is already existent on the page, well, then you can do that. It will go ahead and put it into syntax for you. Now, where is this helpful? For instance, if you're utilizing a tool such as GSA Search Engine Ranker, when I scrape in that text, if it's giving me pre-formatted spin text, This could be wildly helpful for creating mass amounts of backlinks, just as an example. Okay. Now, that's not what I'm interested in, but maybe you are. All right. Translator. Now, this is something that I do enjoy. All right. This is the easiest, fastest, cheapest way to go ahead and just auto spin or crude spin, clean spin, which we'll talk about in a later module. All right. This is the fastest, easiest. All right. Now, the task name, this is what you're going to name your scraper. So if I'm scraping Chris Palmer website plus Homelight, that's what I generally name them. Or I'll just put the URL of the website that I'm scraping, because I usually scrape the whole site and then we spin out the content. It's up to you, okay? File name, file string, this is up to you. I like to make it, the URL is perfectly fine, so this way we know what page it came from. This is apples and oranges. It's completely up to you, whatever is best for you, okay? Save file location. So this is going to go here. What we're going to do here is I'm just going to send this into the same folder that the training is in. So as you can see, it is automatically connected to my file system because this is a software-based, Windows-based piece of software. So it's not cloud-based, even though they have that functionality. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and select that. This PC, we're going to go to D, we're going to go to this, and we're going to go to select folder. Okay, so that way the content goes there. Now, as far as schedule, after done, we don't need to do anything. So now, once this is done, we'll go ahead and click save. And then if I want to start the action to start scraping the content that's on the pages that I added, all I'll simply have to do is hit the play button and the actions will show up here. All right, it'll tell me what's going on. All right, currently it's running, and as you can see, it's coming here. Okay, it looks like it's having some fun with Homelight. All right, so as I'm waiting for this, red, skip, 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 and I think it's done. So let's see, there's not much content on the home page of my website. But let's go back into here and see what we have. Oh, it doesn't look like it got me anything really. All right, what we're going to do is go in there and fill out some more based upon the selectors, and then we'll rerun again. So I'll come back to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello and welcome to Scraping Content with me, Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. In this training, what I'm going to walk through is how to utilize SEO Content Machine for scraping. I'll share with you the two different types of scrapers, whether that's going to be a static scraper, which is built into the system, that's what they call it, a dynamic scraper. I'll also walk through the basic functionalities and how to go ahead and utilize a third-party service in order to put a clean or a crude spin on top of the content so then it can be utilized on your blogs, on your PBNs, wherever you want. So again, I am Chris Palmer. Please visit us at seomastermind.org or chrispalmer.org, and I look forward to seeing you in the training. See you there. Hello and welcome back to the training. So in this video, what I will walk you through is choosing the cloud instance that's going to be best for your WordPress installation. So let's go ahead and get into this now. So we have already turned on and enabled all of our APIs, and we have chosen to utilize Google Cloud. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and name this. So it's going to be SEO testing. Okay. SEO testing. All right. And then down when you come inside of here, see how the cost is 13 bucks. So we could put a dash in there. Now, what you'll do is if you go to Central, all right, is it 1A, 1B, 1B? All right. ME, so look at that, free. Is it free though? South America, US Central 1. All right, E2, what we're going to do is go to N1. Okay. Then we come inside of here. Small, half, one